Hello everyone, time for some Chess960 once again. This is actually a familiar opponent for me. Played twice before against this guy and lost both times. Maybe now it's time to get a win. Okay, thinking, obviously both knights I want to develop so that this goes to g6 and this goes to b6, and well, I want to push both these pawns up, develop bishops, and actually castle long this time. Surprisingly enough, because of the easier route to castle. Isn't my opponent doing anything? Why? I'm not gonna abort, that's for sure, but I do hope that this won't take forever. Okay, here we go. D4. I mean E4, sorry. Well, I'm gonna do this symmetrical always, almost always after the opponent goes forward 2 squares with either of the center pawns, so I'm gonna play knight b6 here, I think. Where do I want to develop this one? So perhaps now that the bishop blocks the knight's development, I think well, bishop here seems now logical, I think. Okay, well, playing d4 isn't a problem, but I guess the point of it is actually to play knight c2 and then d4 when my bishop on c5 is a bit out of place and I can't actually play d6 because of that exact problem. It will get trapped, so bishop c5 was perhaps a bad move. And actually my development of the c8 bishop now becomes a problem, but after the knight c2 d4 ideas I made. Really? Huh. Well, that's actually interesting too, because it threatens bishop g5 and I don't have currently a good way to stop that, I guess. Wow. I guess I changed my plan a bit. Now queen h7 and castle short actually is a much more well, a plan that seems to be working better now that it's problematic to move this pawn, and also because my knight is on b6 I don't get to push the b pawn, so maybe I should have played b5 before I played my knight here. Then again, then I would not have wanted to castle long, I mean. Okay, so let's play knight to f5, okay, and well, I'm gonna castle and then move the queen, I guess. Because again, the same problem with the bishop here, so I guess queen to d8. I may actually retreat my bishop to e7, then play d6, so that I can get my pieces developed. Because I need to play, move this pawn forward in order to get this bishop into play. Seems like the best way to do it. Okay, g3. Okay. Kinda don't want to play this bishop here because it's more passive there, but because if I don't move it here, I will never be able to play this pawn forward, so gonna have to do that. Well, actually I could have played d5 there. And I'm not sure why I didn't do it. I mean, that bishop e7 move was unnecessary. And it would have been better to just leave it there, but oh well. And okay, now he wants a pawn because I can't defend that e5 pawn at the same time when capturing here, so unless I capture with the queen, but then bishop takes queen and that's no fun. However, if queen takes e5, then bishop g4 check is a bit annoying for my opponent. So no matter, actually it wasn't all that good for my opponent to take that pawn, and obviously now quick castle is in some trouble. Rook e2 check is coming, and all sorts of nice stuff afterwards. So I think I'm doing quite well here. Of course I have over 2 minutes less than my opponent on the clock, but because of the increment it should be okay still. And especially for the fact that this position seems to be so good for me, unless I'm missing something. Wow! Just wants to give up the queen. Well, let's do that then. And yeah, I guess queen to d6 perhaps, and then queen h6. Okay, won't do that then, because it's no longer as good as it could have been. I would like to play rook e8, but actually I'm gonna play king to f8 and then rook e8. Now should I prevent knight to b5. Maybe I should. And next play rook e8. Sure. Seems like a good plan. Okay. I may need to be a little bit careful here, but what should I do? I obviously don't want to play my queen to the e file, because then rook e1, and then what's the point in winning a queen if you can't keep the advantage in material? So I think next maybe c5, try to kick the knight again to a square where it's worse than it is now. Yeah, I mean, it has to go to e2, right? Yeah. And then now I can play my queen to e file. The e file. Maybe I should have played. Well, actually, that's not so good. Now knight can do a bit annoying stuff there. That wasn't a good idea from me. But okay, let's play here and then queen to h6, I guess. I'll play to d7 and then c6, perhaps. Seems to be a decent plan, and okay, I need to be a little bit careful about my time usage. It's not really clear what my opponent will do. Actually, this bishop d7 might have the idea of playing bishop here. But okay, now I think I'm gonna play f6. Kick the rook away and then perhaps play bishop to h4. I mean a4, sorry. It is true that I have made things a bit too complicated for me than they should have been. Then again, actually, wow, that's interesting. Maybe I just play h6. I mean, what is my opponent gonna do with that rook anyway? I think bishop e8. Is going to be interesting. Well, actually f5 followed by knight f6 is probably the plan I should do. Well, depending what my opponent does. This rook seems to be a bit too offside and will get trapped. or at least there's a high likelihood of that happening. Let's see if there's anything better. Well, it's hard to... Well, maybe it's not that hard actually. I'm gonna play here and then bishop to g6. Then move the knight to e7, let's say, and then... Well, actually I'm already thinking about c4 here. But also... Well, knight here should be okay. I mean, if he wants to exchange the rook for the bishop, it's okay. No big problem there. Well, that loses piece and a pawn at least. I am indeed close of getting the first win against Quick Castle here. Unless I mess this up completely. But it doesn't seem so. Thank you all for watching, and actually... Should I play a next game against him? But actually, I would like to analyze this game first. So actually I'm gonna decline the challenge. And put the analysis board in order to see how well we played. So okay, e4 in here, most common move. So is e5, and then, well, bishop c4, third most common, and seems to score quite well for white. And the 5 games played after knight b6 seems to score even even better for white, and now there's not that many games here. And actually the most common move, bishop b3, was also played in the game I played just now, and it's actually in the top games section for some reason. But not in the recent games, which is quite odd, since it was it is actually the latest game played like this. And bishop c5 again, most common alternative. And okay, it seems to score quite well for black, but then again very limited database, only 2 games, 1 for each move, and one can't make too big decisions based on this. And of course, even here this starting position hasn't been played all that many times. I mean, if you count all the games here, it's still quite low. But okay, thank you all for watching, and bye bye.